Welcome back to Heimve to both old and new viewers. It's been rather quiet on this channel during the winter, but now spring is finally here. This video is merely an update on my writing project that I talked about in one of my previous videos last summer, and some thoughts and experiences on creative writing. If you're not interested in this kind of topic, you can skip this one and wait for my next video, when I go back to the cabin in the woods later this month. As I was mentioning in the video last summer, I use writing as a tool to sort thoughts and feelings, and of course to let creativity out. I started writing fiction when I was about 12 or 13 years old, which was like back in the 1980s, when we didn't have things like internet, cell phones or even home computers, and just had to entertain ourselves, so to speak. I started writing by hand before advancing to my dad's typewriter, Brother AX10, which I remember was a big improvement. Today I'm glad I chose to take up writing, because having writing skills can be quite useful in many aspects in life. I've had some shorter writing breaks along the way when I took up other hobbies as well, or when life was just a little too busy. But I would say I've been a person who writes more or less the whole time, ever since childhood. Writing is one of the few constants in my life that I always take with me wherever I go, whatever I do and whoever I live with or not. During all these years, it has truly meant home to me. A space I could always go back to and rely on, a familiar and safe space. I have mostly been a vacation, weekend and spare time writer, since I have a full-time job and rarely have the energy to write much after coming home from work on weekdays. I do continue developing the story and characters in my head almost every day, but I save the actual writing to the weekends instead. All my writing projects take their time, but luckily I have no rush or deadlines, and I think taking my time also saves me from doing a couple of obvious mistakes along the way. I started my current writing project back in December 2020 during the pandemic, which was great for writing, by the way. I saved a lot of time from commuting back and forth to work, for instance, since I mostly worked from home in that period. Last summer at the cabin, I also had a great workflow and managed to do lots of my story. Luckily, the cabin gives me a good writing vibe. The solitude, the silence, the nature, it all helps a lot on both focusing and sorting thoughts and ideas out. A couple of weeks ago, I finally finished my novel. After 4 years and 4 months of writing, rewriting and editing. It was so nerve-wracking at the end with the last pages. I felt like digging a tunnel from 2 sides at the same time, hoping they would meet in the middle and make up some sort of construction that would hold. But it worked out, at least in my opinion, and I was very relieved. I have never written a whole novel from start to finish before. I have written short stories and had a couple published a long time ago, and some poems, but I have never managed to finish a whole novel. But I do have a few half-finished ones in my drawer. So from this point on, everything is new territory for me. It's still an unpublished novel, and despite all the work that went down into making it, some may even call it just the first draft. But it is something. I put over 29,000 words together to form an actual story from start to finish, and with different characters. I created something entirely from scratch that did not exist at all up until this point. And that's the great joy of creating, in my opinion, creating something out of nothing. I have decided to send my story to a publisher, but I'm not quite there yet, because I know there is more work to be done with the text. Right now I'm in the middle of weeding out all the repetitive and unnecessary words that I know I use a bit too much and doesn't do any good to the text. I try to be conscious about them, but I guess I forgot along the way as time passed, so now I have to do the cleaning up. Or do språkvask, as we say in Norwegian. I truly believe that if you have the urge to make something creatively, whether it is a novel, a painting, music, movie, or just a YouTube video, you should definitely do it. I think it's good for your overall mental health, and you just might make something that you can share with others who also appreciate it. But do it first and foremost for yourself and for the joy of creating. And good luck.